On today's episode of The Front Row, we are at the Buddy Holly Center here in Lubbock, and our special guest on the program today is Jacqueline Bober. She is Director of Municipal Museums here for the City of Lubbock. Jackie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Clint. It's my pleasure.
So, Director of Municipal Museums, for folks who don't know, unpack that a little bit. What is that?
Sure. The Municipal Museums refers to primarily the two museums that the city owns, the Buddy Holly Center and the Silent Wings Museum. Also under my purview falls the Municipal Garden and Arts Center, which is located at approximately 42nd and University Avenue.
Right. That's a big job.
It's a fun job. It's a very fun job.
Yeah. A lot of art and beauty and creative things for you to do.
And history and, yes, events, all of it.
Right,
So.
and you're so suited to do that. My
thank
goodness gracious, it's wonderful. Well, today we wanted to talk about several things, one of which is an exhibit that's just about to begin here at the Buddy Holly Center. It's an exhibition, Jazz Photography. Tell us about it.
Correct. So this Friday, January 31st, we will be pleased to open a traveling exhibition entitled Shutter and Sound, the Jazz Photography of Bob Willoughby. Many people may know Mr. Willoughby by his photographs that he had taken of actors, sort of candids of actors in Hollywood later in the 1960s and 70s. But this exhibition focuses on his jazz photography. Jazz had its birth in the South, but come the 1950s, LA became a very vibrant jazz scene, something characterized as smooth jazz, maybe in part because of the laid-back feel that surfer culture gave everything. But Mr. Willoughby he himself was a fan of jazz music. And oftentimes when he was in his darkroom working on his photographs, he'd have jazz music on, or the radio, tuning into live broadcasts of jazz music. And if he happened to hear a live broadcast and the venue was very nearby, he would pick up his equipment and head to that venue to take photographs of the event. Dave Brubeck, one of his subjects, commented that he was an inspired photographer, not only in the photographs that he took, but in those moments that he captured. So he knew the music well enough to know when the singer was going to hit a particularly poignant part, or the musicians were going to come in. Those stage moments were very pivotal to the ethos of his photography. And, he photographed the performers, the musicians, even the crowds. And so because it wasn't a planned, maybe staged sort of photographic session, he would, have to work in dimly lit conditions and very crowded sort of venues. So the fact that he was able to capture many of these photographs and just make them as stunning as they are is really amazing. Not only did he, photograph the events happening, the performances as they were happening live, but also some studio pieces are in the exhibition too. Visitors will be pleased to see about 50 photographs is what we have, and then there are explanatory text panels that go along with it, so it kind of contextualizes what the visitor is seeing. They'll recognize many jazz greats, Louis Armstrong and Miles Davis, Frank Sinatra, Dave Brubeck, Peggy Lee and Stan Getz, Benny Goodman. My favorite, Johnny Mathis. Yeah. So there's a lot to see in that exhibition. We are pleased to have it. It is a traveling exhibition brought to us through Exhibits USA and the Mid-America Arts Alliance with assistance from the National Endowment for the Arts. And then locally, we have gained support to bring this exhibition here to the center through the CH Foundation. So we're very pleased to have it. As I said, it will open this Friday, January 31st, and run through Sunday, March 16th. So our visitors will have about 6 weeks to come and take in the exhibition. There is also a jazz music soundtrack which will play in the background, and the traveling exhibition company also sent along some really fantastic textbooks that on jazz music and jazz in the 1950s in California particularly. So visitors will be able to page through some of those books as well.
And that's here at the Buddy Holly Center,
That
right?
is correct, yes. Right. 1801 Crickets Avenue.
Wonderful. Listening to you talk about that, talking about how amazing these photographs are given the conditions, it strikes me probably that being a great artist like this, he probably used those conditions to make a unique thing, a unique kind of look for jazz photography. And so now I'm agog to see this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you'll sense that as you look at these photographs. You can imagine yourself being you are an audience member,
right.
Because he took many of those photographs from that perspective of being in the crowd rather than on or behind the stage. And so you get that sense that you are there in that moment. It is dark, it is smoky, it is filled with music and the vibrancy of all of the instrumentation. It's fantastic.
Right. Well, congratulations for getting this exhibit.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Right. And just for folks who are really interested in this, where can they find more information?
We will later this week have some information about the exhibition on our website, also in our e-newsletter. If they are subscribers to our e-newsletter, there'll be a blurb in that newsletter about the exhibition, and a press release will also go out later this week.
All right, great.
Okay.
So the second big thing is the day the music died, and of course that's the big reference to Buddy Holly, and of course this is the Buddy Holly Center.
Yes.
So tell us about your events.
Sure. This is an annual event that the center holds to commemorate that day, the anniversary of Buddy's passing in the plane crash. Not only his passing, but that of JP, the Big Bopper Richardson, Richie Valens, and the pilot, Roger Peterson. So we commemorate this anniversary each year. We are open to the public on February 3rd. This year it's Monday. Free. We invite visitors to visit us from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have many activities planned for the day. First off, the center makes sure that there is a spray of yellow roses placed on the grave. It's a day that many visitors will make that pilgrimage to the gravesite and leave mementos and remembrances there at the gravesite.
That's out at the City of Lubbock Cemetery.
That's correct, yes, at 31st and Teak Avenue specifically. Yes, and it is open from sunrise to sunset. Then throughout the course of the day, visitors are welcomed. We will be showing in our theater a video that was captured several years ago, an interview of Buddy's oldest brother, Larry Holly, and his remembrances of his brother. And that documentary is called The Buddy I Knew. So there are some very poignant remembrances in there, and some fun things too, that visitors will appreciate seeing. We will have the Allison House open that day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for visitors to cycle through. Typically, we give guided tours of that facility 3 times a day, but it'll remain open for that 5-hour span so people can just walk through, and we'll have staff members out there to answer any questions that visitors may have throughout the day. We'll also have some children's activities. Children will be invited to make a commemorative yellow rose. They will make some special Buddy Holly shaped glasses, and there are some other music related activities for them to participate in. And then at 2 p.m. we'll have a guided tour of the main Buddy Holly gallery. So we want to be sure that if visitors are interested in getting a guided tour, that they come for that at that time.
Great. If I can backtrack to the Allison House, for folks who don't know, tell us, what is that?
The Allison House is the boyhood home of Buddy's drummer in the Crickets band, J.I. Allison. The house was originally sited over on 6th Street, a few blocks from the Tech campus. And when that neighborhood was renovated, the house, someone in the neighborhood knew who lived in that house, called it to the attention of the developers, and the developers made sure that the city retained the house. For many years, it sat up on our Municipal Hill area in a state of disrepair, not because of anything other than it was an old house. And then the West Texas Home Builders Association, with the help of Civic Lubbock and many other organizations, pulled resources together to restore the house and move it onto a site here at the center. At the time, I was the curator. My assistant and I and several other staff members had great fun finding antiques, items that would have been in the house. And in addition, J.I. himself provided many of the items for the house. He retained the kitchen table and the buffet that was in the house. There is a painting that his mom had done and some photographs. And J.I. had sent a series of photographs that we were then able to use to see the pattern of the wallpaper, or the knickknack that was on the kitchen counter, or how the table was dressed for dinner. So it's a neat space because it is where Buddy and his band practiced. A lot of music happened in that house. That is where they wrote That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue and some of their other songs. J.I.'s parents were very accommodating and very supportive of the youngsters as they practiced and stuff. And so it was a house that was filled with music on many occasions.
All right. Great. All of that is coming up on February 3rd. More information, of course, I guess, is at your website.
Correct.
Great. What's the third big thing that you have coming up?
Well, it's a little out, but I do want to let listeners know that very soon we will have on our website some information about our upcoming Summer Showcase concert series that will take place in our Meadows Courtyard every Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. And I believe it's May 15th to August 14th. We will be hosting concerts in our courtyard that are free for the public to come by and enjoy. I can't do anything about the heat, but please come and enjoy the music. We will have on our website some information on how to sponsor that event if people are so inclined. We do not charge any admission or a cover for that event, and we do need to pay the bands and the sound people. So we do a lot of fundraising outside of, we don't have the money in our budget. So we just raise funds separate from that, and we have a lot of steadfast and very generous supporters. But we also have people that maybe can't give at a certain level, but they can give something, and that is all appreciated because it all goes to the artists.
Right. I hope you'll ask me back to discuss that closer to the summer.
I shall. Hopefully we'll have a lineup of bands that we can talk about. For those listeners that come to our event every summer, they know it to be a dynamic and fun time, a family-friendly event, and it's a very eclectic presentation of music. You'll hear rock music and jazz music and mariachi music and country music and soul and funk and just every type of music, which is in keeping with Buddy's desire to promote music and use elements of different styles of music in his own creations. So we feel like we are honoring him by doing this for our visitors.
Jacqueline Bober is Director of Municipal Museums here at the City of Lubbock. Jackie, thank you as always for being our guest on the front row today.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.